I didn't always love reading. When I was a child, I actually rarely finished a book. I only really read for school, and having to read books by a deadline gave me a lot of anxiety. I started reading again as an adult over a year ago, and I honestly can't imagine living without it anymore. February wasn't the best month for me personally, but in that time, I really found joy in the characters, worlds, and words I found through the books I read. I ended up reading 18 books in total, which was the most I have ever read in a month, and is not something I'll be trying to sustain, but I still wanted to do a quick wrap-up. But instead of ranking the books, I thought I would give out a few awards. So first up is our sleeper hit. This is a book that maybe has a surprise comeback, maybe some people were sleeping on it, but turns out it's highly underrated. And for my sleeper hit this month, we have Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. And now I know what you're thinking. You're like, sleeper hit? How is this a sleeper hit? It has over 4 stars on Goodreads, over 200k ratings on Goodreads, and it was also part of Oprah's book club. But hear me out. So when I was reading the ratings and the reviews to pick out my next book, and I came across Hello Beautiful, I actually saw a lot of reviews from people who were saying things like, couldn't relate to the characters. There's one character in particular that I feel kind of rubbed people the wrong way, and there were a lot of DNF reviews. And I actually felt very similarly when I was reading it. There were actually several points when I really did consider not finishing the book, mainly because there was that one character, Julia, which I felt like just came across really selfish, and I didn't really feel invested in her storyline per se. And so I kind of forced myself through those parts, and actually I ended up loving it. I get it now. I get why it's over 4 stars. I get why Oprah loves it, because I love it too. It's a book about sisters and family, and is a little Women-esque, and you really get to see from multiple characters' perspectives just how they interact. There's Julia, who is the oldest daughter, William, who marries into the family through Julia, and how he is introduced to all of the sisters, and he gets to see how they all interact, and how through their sisterhood and through their love as a family, they really become whole. And it really explores their dynamic, what happens when someone breaks off from the family, and what it feels like when everyone comes back together. Ended up really liking this book. It was a sleeper hit for me. Definitely didn't think I would like it, but definitely came back strong at the end. Next up, we have The Bandwagoner. So this is a book that everyone says is good, and after reading it myself, I have nothing original to provide. I can only confirm that what everyone else says is true. It is as good as everyone says it is. And so my Bandwagoner pick this month is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I actually was hesitant about picking up this book because I didn't think I was gonna like it. I haven't read that much fantasy as an adult and thought I just wouldn't like it, but Fourth Wing is actually as good as everyone says it is. So it's about this girl, Violet, who is kind of forced into this career of being a dragon rider, and it talks about her experiences becoming one, her finding her own identity as a dragon rider, and the people that she meets. It does have those maybe YA elements. I don't know if Fourth Wing is actually YA, but romancy, Twilight type elements. But all in all, I think it was a really interesting story, a really interesting world, and I think I haven't read the second book yet, but there was an interesting setup for seeing the world beyond the scope of this first book, So that's something that I will be looking forward to in the next one. And the last award I have for this month's books is the 6-star book. This is a book that was my favorite read for the month. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read it yet, go to a bookstore, place a hold on Libby. Highly recommend that you read this one. And for this month, it is Prophet Song. This was the Booker Prize winner last year, so very highly acclaimed, and very deserving of all of that recognition and acclaim. Really, really enjoyed this one. It really just did it all for me. It had really deep, rich characters, beautiful writing, and it just felt like a real work of impact. So it's essentially like a dystopian novel. It introduces you into this world which is eerily similar to modern day, but I thought this one was really unique in that this one actually follows the story of a woman, Ilyich, and how she sort of faces that change in her localized life. She is a mother, she is a wife, she is a caregiver for her aging father, and it really goes into how she faces sort of this crumbling world around her, how she faces all of that, and how she survives. A little dark, to be honest, but really, really great book. Highly recommend. This was my 6-star book for the month. Let me know what books you would award in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.